The Lord of the Rings is sometimes viewed as a simple, optimistic story of good defeating evil. But to its author J.R.R. Tolkien, The Lord of the Rings isn't a happy story.
It's equally untrue, isn't it, that it's a happy story. One friend of mine said he only read it in Lent because it was so hard and bitter.
Always a human story is practically always about one thing, aren't they? Death. The inevitability of death.
Hope is a feeling associated with The Lord of the Rings, but its characters are often more hopeless than hopeful. Aragorn says that we must do without hope. Merry and Pippin go without hope towards torment and death. And Sam never had any real hope in the affair from the beginning. Like with just about everything Tolkien wrote, there's a reason for this doom and gloom. Our common conception of hope, the possibility of a brighter future, is fundamentally at odds with Middle-earth's declining trajectory. With the power of the elves gradually fading from Middle-earth, Galadriel tells Frodo that, quote, "Through the ages of the world we have fought the long defeat." Tolkien scholar Tom Shippey, many of whose ideas I'm paraphrasing from his incredible books The Road to Middle-earth and Author of the Century, says that the whole history of Middle-earth seems to show that good is attained only at vast expense, while evil recuperates almost at will. This results in characters lacking a sense of hope that feels odd in a modern storytelling context, where hope is often placed among the highest virtues and weapons against evil, like in the Hunger Games.
Why do you think we have a winner? Hope. It is the only thing stronger than fear.
If The Lord of the Rings was written now, Aragorn and Sam would probably realize they were wrong to give up hope and somehow use it to destroy Sauron. But Tolkien often rejects modern conceptions of ideas in favor of something older. He was greatly inspired by Norse mythology, which depicts hope not as something aspirational, but rather foolish. Hope is the name of the saliva dribbling down the mouth of Fenrir, the great wolf destined to kill Odin. This contemptuous depiction of hope is consistent with Ragnarök, the Norse apocalypse which has predetermined the defeat of Odin, Thor, and other good gods at the hands of monsters. Stories about evil ultimately destroying the world doesn't sound very Tolkien-esque, but they contain something important. Tolkien viewed personal hopelessness as necessary to depict true courage. In fact, he said that Norse mythology's great contribution to humanity is its theory of courage. One of the stories that inspired Tolkien the most was a poem called The Battle of Maldon. It's uncertain how much of the poem is fiction, but it's about a very real battle from 900 AD where an English army was defeated by Viking invaders. Tolkien's favorite part seems to have been an English bodyguard who refused to retreat when their leader was killed but fought round his body till all were dead. It's similar to Tolkien's statement that,
I've always been impressed. We're here surviving because of the indomitable courage of quite small people against impossible odds. Jungles, volcanoes, wild beasts. They struggle on, almost blindly in a way.
One of the things that Tolkien loved about fantasy fiction compared to other genres is its unique ability to depict values in their purest and most distilled form, stripped of what he called the blur of triteness that we in our everyday lives can sometimes feel toward lofty concepts like heroism and bravery. With this in mind, it's easy to see a heightened parallel between the poem's hopeless but courageous English bodyguard and Frodo's own bodyguard, Sam Gamgee. When the hobbits are about to rush blindly toward the Black Gate and their certain deaths, Sam reflects that, quote, he had stuck to his master all the way. That was what he had chiefly come for, and he would still stick to him. He never had any real hope in the affair from the beginning, but being a cheerful hobbit, he had not needed hope, as long as despair could be postponed. This passage clarifies that The Lord of the Rings isn't nearly as interested in promoting optimism as it is in rejecting despair. To Sam, hope isn't necessary, but despair must be avoided at all costs. It's the difference between fighting despite inevitable defeat versus quitting and embracing the philosophy of defeatism, a term that happens to have been coined in English during World War I, the very war Tolkien fought in. Like Sam, Tolkien must have struggled many times throughout his life to postpone his own despair. His father died when he was an infant, his mother died when he was a boy, and at the Battle of the Somme, he took part in one of the bloodiest battles of the bloodiest war of his generation, saying in the foreword to the Fellowship of the Ring that when he returned home, quote, all but one of my close friends were dead. Defeatism has more than one meaning, and The Lord of the Rings addresses and rejects at least two of them. It was first used in the context context of active cooperation with the enemy, like France potentially negotiating a peace deal with Germany in 1915, or, say, the mouth of Sauron offering surrender terms to Gandalf. "These are the terms," said the messenger and smiled. "The rabble of Gondor and its deluded allies shall take oaths never again to assail Sauron the Great. All lands east of the Anduin shall be Sauron's forever, solely." It's important to note that Tolkien didn't write allegories into his work, meaning that the mouth of Sauron isn't standing in for Germany here. But I think we can read some of Tolkien's disdain for defeatism through Gandalf's reply. "As for your terms, we reject them utterly. We did not come here to waste words in treating with Sauron, faithless and accursed." But defeatism has another meaning beyond cooperation with an invading army, that of simple despair. Defeat without struggle, which Tolkien warns about through the character who most embodies despair, Denethor, Steward of Gondor, who responds to the news that Sauron has already burnt the first circle of Minas Tirith by saying that it's, quote, "better to burn sooner than late, for burn we must. Farewell, Peregrine, son of Paladin."
Go now and die in what way seems best to you.
Pippin doesn't have much more hope or optimism than Denethor, but he lacks his despair, saying, "I will not say farewell, my lord, for I want to see Gandalf, and I will not think of dying until he despairs." Tolkien goes to great lengths to depict despair as the literal opposite of courage. Where bravery often ends up saving the lives of the hopeless hero and the people they're fighting for, Tolkien's despair causes the deaths of both the despairer and the people they should be fighting for. Because Denethor's despair doesn't just destroy himself, it also kills King Theoden. Denethor's plan to burn himself and Faramir forces Pippin to pull Gandalf's attention away from the battle. When asked if he can stop Denethor, Gandalf replies, "Maybe I can, but if I do, then others will die. The Black Rider is abroad, and he will yet bring ruin on us." This same Black Rider goes on to kill Theoden. Tolkien was a nuanced writer, so there are moments where characters have hope. Aragorn says that I cannot desert my friends while hope remains. But Tolkien's hope isn't about personal survival like in the Hunger Games, but rather that by sacrificing yourself, you can hopefully create a brighter future for others. The most courageous thing a person can do is, in the words of Gandalf, uproot the evil in the fields that we know, so that those who live after may have clean earth to till. Tolkien's greatest depiction of courage is the character with the least amount of personal hope, Frodo Baggins. Unlike Tolkien's other hopeless characters who eventually get happy endings, Frodo's bleak expectations turn out to be mostly correct. Being too wounded to stay in Middle-earth, Frodo saves the world for everyone.
But not for me.
But if the person who captures this idea is Frodo, the people who capture it are of Rohan. They most closely represent the Norse heroes that inspired Tolkien's theory of courage. And we're lucky enough to be able to hear Tolkien himself narrating King Theoden's hopeless ride to save Middle-earth.
Now silently the host of Rohan moved forward into the field of Gondor. The smell of burning was in the air and a very shadow of death. Perhaps Theoden would quail, bow his old head, turn, slink away to hide in the hills. At that sound, tall and proud he seemed again, and rising in his stirrups he cried in a loud voice more clear than any there had ever heard a mortal man achieve before, "Arise, arise, riders of Theoden! Fell leads awake fire and slaughter! Spear shall be shaken, shield be splintered, the sword day, red day ere the sun rises! Ride now, ride to Gondor!"
I go to my fathers, in whose mighty company I shall not now feel ashamed.
Thanks for watching. I'm really trying to make good stuff. If you enjoy good stuff, consider subscribing.